let's do it. Shit. Break time. All right. If you are here and you want to chat, leave some questions or comments in the chat. We'll chat about them. Yeah, stop doom scrolling. Work on your book. Do it. Working on books is so much fun when you're actually doing it, and it takes so much effort to get there. I've been working on a book for so long, and some days I'll just like power through so many things, and then other days, not at all. Hello. Um, I would show my screen, but I'm working on things that have information and people's names. So we're just doing the keyboard tonight. It's fiction. It's not. I don't know. It was a romance. It's kind of more of like a I want com than like a rom com vibe. Um, but I don't. I it it's like a flat. I'm working on it for so long, and yet I do not have like a tight pitch for it. But it's two people who were together, but it was complicated in college, and they have like a random meet back up later in their lives during a snowstorm in New York City, and um, kind of talk about like what they expected their life to be versus what it turned out to be. Um, and I don't know. I've never quite figured out. There's like something that compels me about the story that I have, but I've never quite figured out what her arc is, and like that's all I really care about. I last year wrote like a college lesbian romance that had to do with like female horseback riders. But I never quite got it to where I wanted it to be. And I don't know, writing books about horses is like really tough. I got too in the weeds at a certain point. So yeah, I'm currently also working with my friend. We're like writing scripts about yeah, fellow horse girl, yeah. Horse like the thing about horse but like when I talk to people about like being a reader as a child, I'm like part of it is because I just wanted to spend more time thinking about horses, and there are so many kids books about girls and their horses, and we kind of grew up at like I grew up in kind of a prime time for it because there were so many. Even early on there was like Pony Pals, there was Saddle Club, there was a lot of like mystery PC games where like yeah, I mean, what a classic. Black Beauty's a classic. Very sad. I it was one of my favorite movies as a child, which like odd. Like it's a beautiful movie. I get why I liked it, but also like very emotionally intense. And the last time I saw Black Beauty, it was the day before Thanksgiving in I think like 2013, and I was on a bus that was taking us from New York City to Boston, and we stopped at a rest stop, and people got off and not everybody got back on, and the bus driver just left people at the rest stop the day before Thanksgiving, at like a random rest stop in Connecticut, and we all like revolted on the bus, and so he like pulled over and told us that he would like dump us all by the side of the road or we could be quiet. And so we all went quiet, and then he put on a DVD of Black Beauty, and it was like another 5 hours in that bus because of all the traffic. And Black Beauty is like a 2 hour movie. And then for the rest of the 3 hours, we listened to the DVD menu loop, with the sweeping Danny Elfman score. So that was cool and fun. So that's that's what I think about with Black Beauty now. But we were all watching it, and when the Ginger scene happened, like the last time you see Ginger, I was like sobbing because everything was so stressful on that fucking bus. Like everybody was in such a bad mood. It was such a nightmare. I still every Thanksgiving I think about those people and how did they get to Boston? Like I'm assuming that somebody from the rest stop was going north and got them to the train, but like what do you do? What do you do with it? And like we were all just so like literally what were we supposed to do at that point? But we did try our best to make that man turn around. But he was not going to. And now you can't take those buses anymore because they had too many crashes. But you used to be able to pay like $7 to get from New York City to Boston. It was like a pretty good deal, except for the risks. Okay, well, on that note, that's a fun lore drop, right? Let's do another 20 minutes work. You can feel free to leave anything in the comments. We did it, everybody. We reached break time again. We got here. It's break. If you have topics or things you want to chat about, let me know in the comments and we'll chat. And it'll be really fun. I have so much work to do and I am so not in a headspace to do any of it, but here we are and we're trying and that's all that matters. And sometimes you do work at night and that still counts. And sometimes the work you do at night is actually better. Like I am such a sucker for waking up like super early before my brain is even really turned on to do things. I used to love opening shifts when I like worked at like retail or like restaurants and stuff. Like I was always like, please let me start work at 6 in the morning. I would love to take the train when I'm like half asleep still, because it just feels like free time. I don't know. I used to be a buyer at a pet store and I literally was like, please give me a key so I can start work at 5:30 in the morning because I just also that place was so busy by the time other people got there. Okay, I will say I am both a night person and a morning person. I am an early morning person, and when I was trying to get my life together a few years ago, I was very much like, okay, like the way to do this is to regiment my mornings. My best friend is a morning person, and so we used to live together, and she used to wake me up by making coffee and sitting on the edge of my bed and making me like sit up and drink it, like, because she would just start telling me gossip until I woke up. So this is really her fault. Because when you wake up at 5:30 and you do have someone to text right away, it is a lot more fun. But yeah, I became a morning person, but I am like I don't I'm so good at staying up and I'm really good at late night writing session stuff, so I sometimes just indulge in that. But my problem is like I'll easy breezy stay up until like 5 or 6 in the morning. Absolutely no hesitation. And then I'm like, oh fuck. I have to sleep. Uh-oh. So yeah, I'm with you there. Morning people, the thing is, I do believe anyone can become a morning person. It just requires like understanding that everybody kind of fucking hates it at first. And most morning people just did it so long ago that they forget. But like it's not that it's easy, it just gets easier. And also you have to like figure out a new rhythm. But the thing about humans is we're not all meant to be one thing. And so like half of us were supposed to stay up, like when you think about it tribally, half of us are supposed to stay up during the night to like keep watch and like be around and do tasks that can happen at night, and then half of us are supposed to be morning people. But we have all of these like supremacist values in society, not just in terms of like all of the other supremacist types, but everybody wants to be doing like the best, and so we're all like, the way I am is better than everyone else, and so like morning people are this way, and it's just like, no. um Yeah, but like that is the thing though, is like you needed people to be on lookout. Like it's every if you think about a lot of human traits from the perspective of like we used to just be nomadic and we used to just walk all the time, a lot of stuff starts to make sense. Um Waking up before the sun is really hard. I recommend getting a hatch alarm clock. Like anything that has a light that will come up, like any of the like light bulb systems you can now set to do this as well, but also like you can literally get like an old school Philips hatch alarm on eBay for like $10 at this point. There's so many cheap ones made now. They used to be so expensive. But it really helps because your body is like waking up with it wakes up slowly. It's like a nice gentle way to do it, and I really think that and making yourself go outside like right away no matter what the weather, like that will make you awake. I used to like lay out my like I used to like go on a morning walk, and I used to be like, you just have to go around the block, and then I would go for a lot longer and I would listen to a nonfiction book. um Oh, I mean, like the thing is, I don't think it works for everyone, but if you're interested in trying to be an early morning person, I think that the alarm clock is just like a nice way to try and help your body slowly wake up. Because if you are in darkness and then you slowly introduce light, like it helps. Um, and yeah, it's I think like you don't nobody needs to be a morning person. It's one of those like I think there's a lot of thoughts that it's better or something, and it's just an option. Um and also I think I might be kind of, I don't know, a part of me is like I might be done doing work right now. So maybe we're just gonna pause this for a second. I've been going for like almost an hour. I feel like I'm good. Morning walks are okay, here's the thing. Morning walks are the fucking best. Have I been doing them for the past like 6 months? No. But I do think that they are the thing that single-handedly changed my life. Morning walks and morning pages used to be my like ultimate go-to combo. And I would make myself like walk around. Usually I would go for like a 30 or 45-minute walk in the morning and I would listen to a nonfiction book. Disney Wars is a really entertaining one because I don't care about Disney, but I do care about corporate espionage. And that one's fun because you get to find out a bunch of like memo drama. And then I listened to one about Sumner Redstone, but I found it confusing. And then I was reading Palo Alto for a long time. And so I also got the audiobook of that so I could like, I don't know, terrify myself while walking around. And then I would come home and I would write my morning pages. And I used to make myself do 6 pages a day in the Moleskine. And that took 40 minutes if I like didn't stop writing the entire time. And then I got faster at that. So it was down to like 35. So I would like my like first hour of the day was just like incredibly stupidly productive feeling, even if it wasn't like actually that productive. And then I just felt invincible for the rest of the day because like anytime people said anything to me, I would be like, I've been up since 5 and I got so much done, even though it wasn't actually like that productive. But I do think going for a walk first thing in the morning is so good for you. There's like a bunch of like dopamine stuff that it does too. So that's also helpful. Ugh, I should do more work, but it's also 10:40. So I might be done for the night, you know? You can let yourself have that sometimes. But yeah, I should do a video on how I got my life together a few years ago cuz I still go back to that. Um Yeah, the thing about like I have not been going outside for the last 2 weeks. It has been negative. It's been below freezing every single day. There's like 6 feet of snow everywhere, and it's covered in piss because there's so many dogs in this fucking city, and no dog owner knows how to like curb their dog appropriately. So there's also a bunch of poop everywhere. Anyway, if you dress appropriately for the weather stops being such a terrible thing to encounter, but it is a pain in the ass. And so sometimes if I knew it was raining the next morning, I would just like plan my day around that a little bit. And so I would like go out, and if I got damp, I knew I was going to like come home and shower. But I was, the thing is like I was getting my life together and being super regimented because I was about to go through like a horrific breakup that my body knew was coming before my brain did. So sometimes we're just out here doing shit. And I was trying to like carve out, separate time for myself. And now that I live alone, like I don't do that. So yeah, because when you try to create alone time for yourself and then your ex just keeps joining in on all of those hobbies and so they don't feel like yours anymore. Sometimes you have to go to extreme measures, aka waking up before they would even consider waking up, so that you can have time to your fucking self by leaving the house. So it's fine. It really did work, and anytime I need to get my life back together, I go back to that routine. I haven't been doing it lately. I've been staying up and making videos and watching a show that I've now seen so many times. But you know what? I'm not judging anything I'm doing for the next month because I'm just coping. And that's fine. That's fine. Life is like that, We don't get to predict everything. So, but I should probably go. I should probably go to bed. But, I had a decaf, but I did just have a giant cup of coffee. But I love coffee. It's the most 90s thing about me. I used to talk about Gilmore Girls online. Maybe I should go. Not that I've pigeonholed myself, but I do feel a little bit like when I was talking about Gilmore Girls, I made a lot more videos about other things as well. And with Heated Rivalry, it really has just like completely taken over my brain in a totally different way. And it's all I can kind of like think about and talk about. And so I'm like, okay, at some point this spell is going to break. Like at some point I will talk about other things online again. I'm starting to. I'm starting to talk about productivity again and stuff, but it's the thing about the productivity of it all, and like this I guess is included in that, so we'll keep this going. Is like I never want it to be toxic. I know that when I don't get things done, I don't feel good. And so I feel like it's really important to like not make people feel bad when they don't get things done, but also give them like gentle encouragement and like just do one thing. Like I'm very, because it's also for me, like I need to remind myself that that's like a possibility, you know? Um, I haven't seen Nina King narratives. I kind of took a break from consuming any heated rivalry stuff except for like interviews with the cast and like any Jacob Tierney stuff, and I haven't even like really dived into that lately. I got accused of stealing an idea from another creator that I had literally never seen. And so it made me really nervous about like even accidentally taking ideas from other people, and like I know that there's like a ton of very cool people doing very cool analysis out there right now, but I honestly, part of it is that like I'm busy making my own, and the other part is that like yeah, I felt very like weird about that, about the accusation, and I think it made me like overly cautious about being being around other people's work just in case. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things of like, I have a really good memory, but I don't always have like an awareness, like in the moment when I'm talking, that I'm like taking something from somewhere else. And I know when I have that I've credited people, but like, yeah, it shouldn't have bothered me as much as it did. I've just been in a sensitive place lately. Um, yeah, I think parallel thinking is such a common thing. And I don't, like, I don't know. I don't think the person was trying to be malicious. I think they were trying to stick up for another creator. But unfortunately, it made me very, like, it put me back on my fucking heels. Um, and people come to the same, we're all watching the same source material. Like, it's not unlikely that people are noticing the same things. I think it's interesting to me when like what people enjoy about different commentary things, and like I do get a lot of really lovely comments, especially like YouTube comments are so much better than TikTok comments. People are just much more like, part of it is the platform, and like I think people like still use YouTube on their desktop and stuff, so like they type more. But TikTok is just like a completely different beast when it comes to comments, and like they're great, but like some of them are really great. Like I've gotten some of the coolest and like, you know, I've been on there a lot longer, and by a lot I mean like 3 months. I started doing this in October as like a side hobby, because my life was falling apart in a different way. Life is so cool right now, everybody's having a great time. And yeah, the things that people like in creators and in like people who make stuff is your personality. And so if but like with TikTok, YouTube is not nearly as algorithm based. Like it feels like once people find me, they continue to find me. Not just in terms of the algorithm, but like if you subscribe, you'll actually see my videos. Like YouTube is pretty good about like, there is a page where you go for your subscriptions. And with TikTok, you have to make videos that make it out of like 200 view jail, because they just show you to 200 random people. And if they don't like your stuff, no one else sees it, and including your followers. So it's hard because that algorithm, it's not hard, it's interesting to me. I want to make a longer video on this, but that algorithm really rewards shallow analysis. Like the videos that do so well for me on TikTok are literally when I'm overcome with like finding something delightful. So it's just me laughing. And like pointing out a very simple thing, or me making like a 7-second joke. Like those are my most viewed videos by like hundreds of thousands. It blows my mind how much more viral those videos are. In any video where I'm like being thoughtful, giving critique, talking about storytelling, archetypes or narrative, or like like devices or anything like that, it's not that like, and numbers don't matter. It's just like fascinating to me to see the difference. And with YouTube, because I think like subscribers come back and get to see things over and over, um, it it allows for the videos that I'm being like much more kind of thoughtful in, I think, to do well. And then I'm like encouraged, like I don't know, it is interesting because like I have now experienced several videos blowing up that I could see a very different path for myself happening if I was determined to just get the most views possible or like get a large subscriber base very quickly. And that's really not what I'm interested in doing because like part of it is like I don't want to go viral. Like I've had some brushes with it now over on TikTok. It's awful. I really don't enjoy it, but I do enjoy cultivating like a thoughtful community of people who want to talk about the same things I want to talk about. Like that's very cool to me. And so that's what's been like really driving me. Yeah. A lot of people do like my laugh. A lot of people like when I laugh at my own jokes. That's a side effect of being insufferable and finding myself very funny, and also being stoned. Not always, but sometimes. And I have gotten some. I got like 3 comments about it right in a row one time of like, stop fucking laughing while you're talking. And I was like, if you don't like it, you're not gonna like me. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm so sorry that you enjoy my content and not my delivery. I do write. You can go read my writing. Unfortunately, I do write like I talk. So, yeah, I think the thing about like creators, it's so weird because like I was a lurker for so long. And being a creator and actually making stuff like I do understand how people get tempted into certain habits and things like that now. And it's fascinating because it's so easy to fall into it. Like I gave some like off the cuff weird, like not weird, but I don't stand by this take. It was literally like I was writing 25 blogs in a row in December. So every day I was staying up until like 2 or 3 in the morning writing these fucking like 2 to 3,000 word random blogs. And at 3 in the morning one time I made a video being like, I think Taylor Swift has changed the way she behaves towards her fans. And I think it's because they were grossly invasive during one of her relationships. And so like, yeah, things changed. And I don't stand by this. I don't care about Taylor. I did not mean to invite any discourse. And it is my #1 most viewed video on that fucking platform. And I still to this day get messages from people being like, you're a fucking idiot because you believe that Taylor Swift is actually in a relationship with men. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I don't care about this nearly enough. But at that point, like if I had just started making Taylor Swift content, like I would have made, like I gained way more followers from that video than any of my other videos. The video I think I'd gained the most followers from was a video where I just recommended 2 political documentaries because they're really good and they explain a lot about modern culture. And it's Bully Coward Victim, the Roy Cohn story, and the documentary Gossip, which is about the New York Post, and they're both terrifying and really great. Yeah, the thing is, like, I have, like, I have some of my best friends are Swifties. Like, I have Taylor Swift albums. Like, I'm not anti-Taylor Swift. I just had a take. You know what I mean? And it was not I didn't think it was that hot a take, but apparently it was. And my friend who got me into Heated Rivalry she's like, not to be like, but she's like big on Swiftie Tumblr, like not from back in the day, but like now, because she does really deep lyrical analysis. And like, she actually makes me like Taylor Swift's lyrics a lot more. And I've told her that. She was like insulted on Taylor's behalf. And I was like, you're too deep into this. So like, I have like kindness in my heart for people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate, there's a lot of like interesting analysis I think you could do of her like use of fandom. And like, that is what deeply fascinates me about celebrities, because celebrities are just people. They're just talented people. And I think like deifying them is really where we get into trouble. But looking at how their fandoms move is really fascinating to me. And Taylor Swift's fandom, like they were all present in that comment section. And so there were people who were like telling me that everything in her entire career has all had to do with Maddie Healy. And I was right that this completely changed her because it was like the love of her, and like all of the, like sending me video after video of like deep analysis of like, and these dates line up with these 1975, like, okay, so that's one side. Then there's like I mean, the people do, you can get a PhD in fandom basically at this point. I have thought about going to grad school to do like sociology of fandom. But like then there were the performance artlers who believe that everything she's doing is one big performance art piece, which they don't seem to realize has like some pretty wildly odd implications in it, but I get it. And then there were the like just straight up old school gaylers who believe that she and Carly Kloss are secretly dating, and have been for the entire time. And then there were like the like there were just so many people. They all had these really strong perspectives, and they were all calling me a fucking idiot for believing that she had dated any of the people that she's publicly dated. And I was like, I even said in that video, like, I think that PR relationships are a lot more complicated than the public perceives them to be. And I think when you're very young, you might be in relationships that were set up by agents and managers that you didn't really understand. And that to me is like the most generous way I can phrase what I think happens to a lot of young women in the entertainment industry 10 to 20 years ago. Like, the type of famous that Taylor Swift is doesn't exist anymore. She was like really the last celebrity who came up through like tabloids and being on Ellen. You know what I mean? Like there's no apparatus in the same way that there used to be. And so I find her fame very fascinating, and I find her leverage of her fandom really interesting, especially because of this new trend in fandom of inserting secret gay relationships into everything. And so I do think it's interesting that a show about a secret gay relationship has blown up during this time, because it doesn't surprise me, nor does it surprise me that half of my comments on TikTok are from people who have profile pictures of Harry Styles and of certain members of BTS who I know that they ship. Yeah, like it's not new. And the thing is, like, it's always happened, right? Like shipping fictional characters has been a thing for a very long time. We can go back to Sherlock Holmes. We can go back to the Spock Kirk of it all in the 60s. Like, I did a research paper on how women used to find fandom, because I was so fascinated at how did you get on mail chains in the 1960s where people would mail you fic? Like, and yeah, I think fandom is so interesting because it does create its own world within it. Like I don't care about Harry Potter. I gave it up a long time ago. But I find the Marauders thing fast. Like I don't care. I don't interact with it. I don't care about it. But I find it fascinating that there is like an entire spin-off based on fan fiction. And even within fan fiction, I think it's always interesting to see like what are the tropes that each fandom develops for their own characters. And like within fanfic, there's like things that start happening in every single fandom all the time. And I'm always so curious, like, who invented this thing that then spread to all of these, and like their work became derivative within the fandom itself? Like, that's so fascinating. And I think RPF, like real people fiction and shipping real people, I think has become a lot more popular in the last 10 years. And fanon is so neat. Especially like just being able to identify things, like right now when I read heated rivalry fic, there are times where I'm like, I can tell what fandom this person used to be in, and then I scroll up, I click on their author, and I'm like, yeah, I was right. I knew you used to write Steric. Like, I could tell within the first 3 fucking lines. And it is interesting. Like, my friend Christina is in like she's in a small fandom for like Roswell, New Mexico. And like she was like, all the fic in that fandom was really, really brilliant. So this is really interesting to me about fanon and canon, is like, I think fanon has become so popular that sometimes people find out fanon before they find out canon. But also fanon, when it comes to real people, is so interesting to me, because there are people who like, I'm very interested by the consequence of the marketing of a lot of these artists as vaguely queer in order to not upset the part of the fandom that reads them as queer and in relationships with each other. And this is such a huge cornerstone of the marketing that like it has now morphed into something else, which is really fascinating. But like when I was going through a hard time in my life, I got into the band BTS. And the thing about BTS fandom is like their fandom is massive and never ending and obsessive. And so you can just deep dive for hours on each of the members. But each of the members is shipped with another member. And there are factions of that fandom that are like out for each other's blood because they believe that one of the members is dating two different members. And like they genuinely believe this. And the thing that scares me about real people fic is that a lot of the fanon that exists from fic about real people then gets interpreted as reality. And so people have fights that are based on things that have like no basis in reality. Oh, we're talking about Schrodinger's cat here. Okay, wait, let me see. Come back. Yes, exactly. It's Schrodinger's like queerness. Like it's in it. The thing that bothers me about it is that it's not liberatory for any artist who is actually queer to have a bunch of rumors about it. Like it's just bad. It's always bad to speculate. It's outing. It's just modern outing. But it makes it harder for those people to come out. And like we have had now multiple instances of queer couples who were in the closet together, who were heavily speculated on, coming out and saying like, hey, by the way, that sucked. And it made it impossible to do this. And like, fandom doesn't seem to want to learn from any of that. People just want to have really bad behaviors. Yeah, like I never watched Dan and Phil, so I don't know all the lore, but I was adjacent because I was on Tumblr. And so I feel like having both of them coming out with their own videos being like, this made it hard. You guys were really creepy and terrible. And the fandom, I think weirdly also feels like oddly vindicated by that. And so there was a lot of like, see, we were right. And so sometimes I'll get comments on TikTok, especially from people who have like symbols in their usernames. And I know what those symbols mean because I'm like a fandom anthropologist. Like I always want to know what's happening. And like the things that have been happening with the heated rivalry guys in real life, like the shipping that the two leads are going through, the like controversy with Connor potentially dating like the guy who plays Scott, like all of that stuff. I'm like, this is all very much like I saw this exact behavior in K-pop fandom. And oh, that's a good term. Okay, writing that down. Congratulations, you have coined, I didn't even spell this right. It's fine. Okay, incredible. Great job, everybody. That's really funny. See, parallel thinking does exist. And look at what we can make together. All of the like death threats over whether or not this person is actually dating this person, like all of that to me is very like, this is what has happened when children were given access to the internet and don't understand the like what actually is happening when they are threatening the lives of other people. Like the stalking, the like review bombing, all of these things, like people feel, I think, like a sense of justice when they do it. And like there doesn't seem to be an awareness of the fact that it's like a real person. I think that is a consequence of growing up on the internet where you're not seeing people's faces when you're bullying them. And so it also like, okay, the thing about fandom is that fandom used to be for people who wanted to find other people to be nerds about the thing that they both really loved. And then fandom became something that was like cool to be part of, and it became a competition. And so now people are very obsessed with their thing being like, quote unquote, like pure and the best and the biggest. And like, it was never, like fandom was never supposed to be a competition. There was always competition within fandom. I'm not saying there wasn't, because like there was always popular creators and stuff like that. But like like the idea of two groups going up against each other and being like, you're lame because you're the band you're a fan of doesn't have as many awards as the band I'm a fan of. And it's just hard for me as someone who like, I don't know, like I'm I'm a millennial, but I feel like Gen X like culture was very like it's not cool to like things that are mainstream, and so it's just fascinating to me that we've switched so much. And I do blame a lot of this on like the millennial kindness infusion into culture of like now it's actually cool to like the really popular mainstream things, and it's like considered. You know what? It's just fascinating how fast it flipped, really. And like I do find it all so. Oh man, super Hulock. Oh, somebody brought up. I said that David Fincher like pioneered texting in shows with House of Cards, and somebody rightfully corrected me and said it was Stephen Moffat and Sherlock. And the thing is, I will never give Stephen Moffat credit for anything ever. I hate Stephen Moffat. He is one of the worst showrunners of all time, in my personal opinion. I think he genuinely ruined Doctor Who, and I hate the ending. The Sherlock being like the way that he would talk about like my child figured out the Moriarty twist. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. There was no twist. Like, I fucking hate that man. Yeah, I think so. I now get a lot of Dan and Phil content on my algorithm because like there's so many compilations, and I think now that I make stuff about heated rivalry, I get a lot of like anything adjacent to a gay relationship, and it's fascinating to me that they now have a like they talk about it more, like they're watching heated rivalry and like giving reactions to it together and stuff. So it's like it's very fascinating to me that they have now kind of created a space for their relationship to be public and also like be together in like it's yeah. But yeah, them coming out I think was like a lot of people had built it up so much, and it's the same thing I see with all of the Taylor Swift timeline stuff, with all the Harry stuff, with the Larry stuff, with the Jai Cooks, with the Tay Cook, with the whatever. Like there's just so many examples now. It's this thing of like they're gonna come out on this day in this way, and when that day comes and nothing happens, they just move the target. And it's like, yeah, you can do that forever. And with the Taylor Swift stuff, what I find really interesting, and this is like my most controversial opinion about the Taylor Swift stuff, is like I think a lot of the people who have gotten stuck in these like performance artler, galer kind of like, no, she's not actually just a capitalist billionaire, she's actually secretly a queer person, is very much to like justify their continued love of her and her art despite her hyper capitalistic machinations and like extremely heteronormative behavior. I made a video talking about how I think football should be abolished. Like, I'm just not a big fan of like most pro sports, to be honest, but like particularly American football is like terrible and dangerous, and CTE is now being caught as young as the Pee Wee level. And so I said that I think Taylor Swift's like worst cultural influence is how many people she's gotten into watching the NFL. And the reactions people had to that were so wild to me. And people were denying that she had any impact on it. I'm like, but she has. You can literally see the numbers. Like, you can't deny data, no matter how uncomfortable it makes us. And yeah, a lot of whataboutism when I said get rid of football. There was like people being like, they would just find another sport. And I'm like, yeah, and that sport might have fewer head injuries. What are we doing here? Like, rugby has fewer head injuries. Like, it's not a safe sport. Like, this is the other thing about hockey is I'm like, hockey is one of the most dangerous sports. Like, hockey is so fucking terrible for your body. And I just think all pro sports are really bad, honestly. Like, it's ironic that I haven't talked about, it's not ironic, I get why I haven't, but like pro sports, I think really do take everything that I think like is like good and human and wonderful about sports, like the teamwork and the camaraderie and like the effort and training and payoff and all of these wonderful things. Like, it all goes out the window as soon as you're paying people and exploiting their bodies for entertainment, because like they can't get those years back, like, and career, and like the way that it ruins people's lives. Like, the book mentions fake teeth. Yeah, like Ilya having mostly fake teeth is very important. He's a fighter. Like, he's losing teeth. There was a fic that had a tooth moment in it, and I was like, gross, do not need this. But it was realistic. And like, I think, yeah, it's a contact sport. Like, we see Shane get hit and he just says like everybody gets their bell rung, and it's like, yeah, some people get their bell rung and they don't get it unrung though. Like you can have like concussions are a big fucking deal. But hockey did, they got rid of cross-checking. Everything's fine. It is better. So like hockey actually is a wonderful example of them taking that very seriously, changing the rules, and like there are way fewer incidents like that now. But I am fascinated by like old school hockey culture, like when Wayne Gretzky got traded and stuff, like he had to have his enforcers come with him and stuff. I mean, look, neither of their brains are unconcussed. That is a really interesting point about how Dan and Phil's fandom aged, and like we're much more mature and able to like handle the idea of them actually being together. I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, it was different when it was a bunch of teenagers, like, and I also think that is the interesting thing about like the One Direction stuff is like when that started happening, when like Larry was a thing on Tumblr back in like, you know, the first year of One Direction being a thing, it was people around their age speculating on things that they were seeing in live time. But now it's like the mantle got picked up by all of these people who weren't there during the time, don't really understand kind of like the wink, wink, nudge, nudge that used to kind of happen. And it's the same thing with the Carly Kloss stuff. Like that stuff was on Tumblr way before it was in the mainstream. And it used to be said by people with like a certain amount of like lighthearted levity to it that will like, even if some people were like fully fucking believing it, there was still a little bit of like plausible deniability and like humor. I think humor is missing from a lot of this because this is mean. A lot of people aren't that funny and a lot of people don't have a great sense of humor. And you see this particularly in TikTok comment sections. Like as soon as a video reaches a certain threshold, people just start leaving the same joke over and over again because you can kind of go viral on TikTok with comments. So like the way that some people get that kind of viral feeling is that they get thousands of notifications from leaving like a really not funny or insightful comment. Like, I don't know. It's fast. It's really interesting. If you start seeing videos with like the same sound a lot, if you open up the comment section, you'll see the exact same comment, but people will be saying it like, I don't know. It's so boring. It's so boring. And this is the thing. Fandom used to be so much fun and still is fun if you find the right fandoms because of the amount of creative people and the amount of creativity that like the thing sparked in people. And I think like that's what's like so wild about the Heated Rivalry fandom right now is that it awakened all the GIF makers. Like Tumblr is so alive. Everybody's writing fic. Everybody's making fan art. Everybody's doing comics. Everybody's doing little drawings. It's really wonderful. And I think like fandom is a great place to like express passion and creativity and like share with people this thing that we all love and like how cool and bonding and unique and like wonderful for human beings. And the thing with like big fandoms that have a lot of people that aren't contributing anything except like negativity and critique to the people who are just like going out of their way to make shit for free for other people to enjoy. That's when fandom sucks. And like I think when you have like fandom be a lot of people's only community, a lot of people don't actually know how to interact with other people. Like I don't know, it's always funny to me when people are like, oh my god, imagine being 30 and still into this thing. And it's like, babe, you want 30-year-olds in your fandom. You want people who have real jobs because they're the ones who are able to like whenever merch used to come out for BTS, there would always be people being like, who can afford this shit? And I'm like, people with salaries. Like I understand it's like not it's not for everybody. A lot of people don't have expendable income, but there are a lot of people who are working pretty successful jobs who are still like into things. So like yeah, they're buying the shit. And yeah, fandom, to be in fandom, I think requires a sense of humor. And I think we used to really develop humor, individual humor, and encourage the development of individual humor. And now a lot of people are just trying to fit in. And so they just repeat the same things. And that's not fun. That's really interesting. I don't know enough about Dan and Phil but the idea of like forgiving your fandom for being too obsessed with you is really interesting. And like I do know that like they got outed like basically by YouTube. Like there was like a glitch with like a private video that like everybody had proof of for a lot. So like their story is interesting because there was kind of a digital thing that occurred, like a glitch that literally occurred. And I feel like it's that thing of like, well, we like that fandom did have like quote unquote like proof in a way that other projected queer relationships don't. So I can understand how that like created a certain level of fervor. But I also think it's very funny that they have made it like part of their brand now is like going back through videos and being like, oh yeah, this was happening. Like, you guys were right about that. Like, that's really fucking funny to me. Yes, I think, okay, so fandom circles is really interesting to me. I also think that TikTok makes, like, comment sections. I've had a lot of thoughts about comment sections for many, many years, because they can be very one way, and you're talking out, right? Like, you're rarely talking to someone unless it's like a situation where it's very live or the person is like really responsive or you're writing very personally. And I think with it doesn't happen nearly as much on YouTube. TikTok comments are a different beast, and I would say Instagram comments are like this too. And I even saw this like years ago when Instagram was still like mostly like actually your friends and like actually just your regular social media. Comment sections are really hyperbolic because like imagine if somebody left a comment on a wedding photo being like, it was a great day, thank you so much, like you looked really beautiful. No, it's got to be like, you're the most beautiful bride that's ever lived, and this day was the most magical perfect day. Like everything became so hyperbolic, and so you had to keep topping it. And I feel like that's kind of what has happened is like a lot of people, it's the and not to insult Tumblr, but it's the what is air, but for everything now. It's just like the most obnoxious, like inside but not inside joke kind of bullshit. And it's repetitive and it's soul sucking because you're just like, I don't know, and it makes me feel mean. Like there's so many times that I know I'm not like I'm a kind person, but I'm often judgmental, and I try not to be. I do my best to write very generous stories, and I practice it all the time. But it is sometimes very difficult for me to not just be like, you're not even funny. Especially when it's like the 15th comment about something that I said in the video that I'm like, you didn't comprehend it though. Like somebody corrected me recently and I was like, but the full sentence disproves what you were saying. Also, okay, this is, I should really go after this, but recently I made a video. It wasn't even that hard, or recent. It's the video where I'm talking about like, Ilya's like the NHL game that Ilya's on the cover of, and I said like I asked 4 questions. It's a 30-second video, and I asked 4 questions in it. My final question is like, did Shane buy the game because it was the only way he could have a picture of Ilya in his house? And the first comment I got on that video is, the real question is, did Shane only buy that so that he could have a photo of Ilya in his house? It was a 30-second video. How did they type that comment faster than they heard me say it in the video? Like, if I could make one thing on TikTok happen, it would be that you have to finish the video before you comment. Like, these are that is what terrifies me, is like, I'm making 1-minute videos. Like, that isn't the real question. The real question is, how do you get that game? Like, I made way more videos positing different theories about how Shane bought that game because somebody, it's so funny. Yeah, no, I understand that everybody has different comprehension levels. And so like, I also have to remember that like, I am not talking to people who have my exact same age and understanding of anything. And like, I have all of my videos set to 18 plus, like, and so on TikTok especially, like, kids shouldn't be finding my shit. But like one time I made a video that was like anti-AI because I just fucking hate AI and sometimes I need to yell about it. And somebody left a comment that was like, I'm still gonna use ChatGPT, you can't stop me, like whatever. Like it was just this bratty little comment. And I clicked on their profile and I realized they were literally 14. And I was like, I don't know how you got to my page, but also like, oh no, I was experiencing like actual annoyance. And this was a child, like, oh God, youths. And so after that, I was like, I can't get mad about comments. I just can assume they're like 14 and just move on with my day. Which, not a bad way to do it. Whatever helps, because I made a video about this the other day. Like, I really do mean this. Like, 99% of comments, really fun, cool, interesting, like, especially on YouTube. And YouTube has been such a cool thing to like move over to. Yeah, exactly. Like, it really did. It's like, oh, right. Oh, hi, child. Oh, you're offering your perspective. That's so wonderful and limited. How did you get into this bar? Why did nobody stop you? And especially, like, I don't know, I'm, I never said I was a role model. And so I always feel like one time somebody left a comment being like, oh, like, I would love if you stopped swearing in your videos. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. That's just simply not going to happen. You're just gonna have to block me. Like, I do apologize for that one. But I think that was like, I don't know. Because of that one political documentary video I made, I have so many followers who are like in their 60s, who like to leave like really lovely comments. But they're very like sweet. And I just find them very funny because sometimes they'll be like, I don't know what show you're talking about, but you just seem so enthusiastic. And I'm like, thanks, Barbara. So, there's not one type of person out there. The thing is, like, I know I don't sound it. I was born and raised in Dublin, Ireland. Swearing is my like, fuck is my I don't know how to get. It's not that I can't turn it off, but it would be so difficult. I'm not hiding the accent anymore. This is just what I sound like. But like, at a certain point, I've changed how I say A's. I cannot change how I say fuck every 2 sentences. My dad is Irish. He's the first in his family to ever leave. My mom's American, but we grew up in Ireland. I was born in Galway. I was actually born, fun fact, Galway Hospital is in County Clare. So I was born in County Clare, and then we lived in Dublin for a long time. And then I moved here. We moved back and forth, but like, yeah, so a bit all over the place. But you can occasionally catch it. There are certain words that I say that don't sound typical. American is one of them. I don't know what it is about that word. I've never quite been able to nail it. But yeah, the thing about American accents that's really hard is A's. You're joking. I genuinely think that is how they decided on it. They've never told me a different story. My mom was convinced I was going to be a boy. And I don't think they had a name for me. And I genuinely believe that is how they did it. I've joked for years, like, they looked at a map and said, where are we? And thank God we weren't in County Mayo. Or Kilkenny. That would have gone over really well in the 90s. Oh no! Oh, that's that. Wow, to be named Monica in the year 1987 would be fascinating. Hey, Blue's a cool name. Yay, I'm so glad you have no problem with my fucking swearing. It's one of those things where, like, I don't know, I woke up a few weeks ago and was like, what am I doing online? What am I trying to do with this? Am I trying to, like, make money? Because if I am, I should probably change how I'm behaving. I'm like, no, I'm not. There would be no way for me to do that. I genuinely don't know how I would, like, pivot to not just talking about whatever I wanted to. I don't I don't do well being told what to do, but I also don't like I don't like capitalism. I think marketing is like kind of a scourge. I do a lot of marketing, but like, I think that everything becoming marketing and everything becoming advertising is like kind of ruining the world. So, oh no, I've done it again. I've talked for so long. I should probably go, but this has been so fun. I should go to bed because I'm trying to get my sleep schedule back on track. And also, I have so much to do tomorrow, and I can't believe it's already Friday, but I can. And I want to make more long form stuff. Long form, okay, the thing about long form is that it activates my perfectionist tendencies, and I get really wrapped up in the editing, and then I don't put it out. And also, filming takes a lot longer. So, I need to figure out what I want to make it on and then do it. I want to talk about the psychological safety aspect of their communication and why both of them like find it so difficult, and like how you can like replace psychological safety with like bravery, just like raw bravery, basically. So yeah, gonna do that. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I will try to like say when I'm doing these on a more like regular basis and like actually do more work. Should probably start them earlier too, but you know, we're learning, we're doing things. But yeah, this was so much fun. Thank you for all your cool, insightful comments. Thank you for leaving them on videos as well. I read them all. I sometimes don't have it in me to respond to all of them. I also get in my own, this is one of those just like, I'm just confessing shit now. I get in my own head about like not respond, like if I start responding to one and not others, I like sometimes feel bad. So I just respond to none, you know, like it's one of those things, but like I read all of them. I appreciate every single one. And I will get better about like actually just going through and like responding and liking them and things like that, because I do. Okay. That's it. Have a good night.